see you.
There, yeah.
Yes.
We're back.
All right.
We're back.
Welcome to Over the Ledge Live, the podcast, the number one, and some say only, political satire show based solely on the Texas legislature. This is the first episode of our third season. Do you remember? When we used to do a show live in person at the Long Center? I think I remember doing that, but I also think today's Tuesday. Over the Ledge gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the shenanigans of the Texas legislature by decoding political headlines and legislators' behavior into easy-to-understand single ant jokes. We're just as funny, but not as famous. Yet. Let's meet our guest tonight. First up, we have our beloved Aaron Salinas. Aaron is an actor, writer, director, and podcaster with a passion for good times, fun vibes, and the Spurs glory days. You can catch him on his podcast, Shame Watch, or streaming video games on Twitch with the Con Save. Please welcome Aaron Salinas.
Hey, everybody. Not a whole lot going on in my world. I started painting my nails, so that's cool. Yeah.
Good. Second, we have a very special guest for you, Rochelle Mcconaco, a rising comedian, visionary, writer, producer, and performer. She co-produces and co-hosts the comedy advice video podcast, Not Another Black Show, designed to take on serious topics with serious humor. Additionally, Rochelle is a member of the multi-talented No Lie Comedy Collective, a group of dynamic black femme comedians. P.S. She's also the founder and CEO of Moon Cricket Productions, a live entertainment company specializing in interactive, multi-sensory comedic events. Please welcome Rochelle Mcconaco.
Oh, I am welcome. Welcome. Okay, get them snatched. I'm ready.
That's a bio, man.
Yeah. Our very special celebrity guest for tonight is journalist John Moritz. You know him as the state capitol correspondent for the Corpus Christi Caller-Times, or from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, KXAN News, and the Quorum Report. You might not know that he's just like Ron Swanson, a wonderful craftsman. And he's known Stephanie since she was about 5 years old. Please welcome to the show for the second time, journalist John Moritz.
I'm glad to be here. And some of what you said is actually true.
Don't tell us which part. Finally, we have the creator and the ruler of the Over the Ledge empire who needs no introduction. Stephanie, third special session, my ass, Chiarello.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you so much for being here.
Before we hear our monologue today, we want to take a special moment to thank our sponsors. We are 66% of our way toward our $10,000 goal. And if you're so inspired, please support us by becoming a sponsor at bit.ly OTL 2021 fundraiser. But no pressure. We're just glad you're here. I mean, you can tell your friends about us, but really, we're just glad you're here. Thank you to the Dina Jo Heidi Dieslin Foundation. Is that right, Stephanie?
That's how I've said it, yeah.
Braden Frame, Stephanie's mom and dad, Catherine and Craig, superfans Brett and Christina, Carla J. Eckerson, Andrew Dunham, April Shapley, Audrey Wick, the Banner family, Sherry Nappy, Carrie Tilton Jones, and 7 other wonderful anonymous donors. Yay!
Were the names anonymous?
I guess the names were anonymous. The other ones.
Anonymous.
There are more where they're just
It was like
secret.
It was me
right.
7 different times.
That's right.
You don't know. You really don't.
With 7 different spellings.
it was Rochelle Mcconaco. Rochelle Mcconaco. Yeah. Great.
You ready for the monologue?
I'm so ready for this monologue. Are y'all ready to hear about what's been happening in the Texas Ledge in the 3.5 months or so?
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So normally nothing should be happening because they would have gotten all their work done in the regular session and they'd be back in their districts doing district business. But no, we are in our third special session, and honestly, they could still be on the floor right now. I don't know. I've not been watching, but let's talk about Greg Abbott. In a last-minute effort to reign supreme, Governor Greg Abbott added another item to the special session agenda, asking legislators to pass legislation that would prohibit private businesses from requiring vaccines for their employees or their customers. That's right, Greg Abbott is now all up in your businesses. Doesn't feel very good, does it? Said every woman everywhere. Now, don't worry, the no shirt, no shoes, no service policy is still totally legit, right? No bubbas. The Texas House passed a new map for the chamber's 150 districts. Surprise, surprise. It protects the Republicans' majority for the next decade, despite the fact that 95% of our state's growth came from people of color. They did this by what's called packing and cracking and wasting, or what we know is just another guy's night at Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick's house.
Oh.
Texas's abortion law that all but bans abortion is already showing signs of fetal inviability in its first few weeks of growth. First it was law, then it wasn't, now it is again, but maybe not for long. This law is so confusing and unreliable. It reminds me of exactly the kind of relationships that cause unplanned pregnancy.
Come on.
I'm not gonna lie. I had sex ed in public school, so I didn't know those first words you were saying. I caught up.
Way to catch up. Good job.
Yeah.
The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services removed a webpage from their site that provided information about suicide prevention and other resources for young LGBTQI people after the webpage received criticism from spurned Hobbit and former state senator Don Huffines, who is running against Greg Abbott for governor. Huffines claimed preventing children from killing themselves was not a Republican Party value. And for once, I just have to thank a Republican for just being totally honest.
Totally honest. He was like, truth bomb.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to pretend. And also, have you heard about second breakfast? You got to look him up, Rochelle. The Justice Department is investigating reports of abuse in Texas's juvenile prisons. I know, I hadn't heard about this either. I just was so focused on children's genitalia and what sports team they can play on.
Oh.
And I'm done, Amy.
Oh.
I think I hit on all 5 main topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I think everyone cringed a little.
you know that's my brand.
Cringe. Stephanie, I can tell Amy K didn't write you any jokes this week.
I wrote all those.
Okay, audience, let me tell you how this podcast works. On tonight's episode, Aaron and Rochelle are competing against each other for the coveted Most Knowledgeable Comedian in Austin Award. Comedians, please be aware that you can each phone a friend 3 times if you were stuck on a question. And by friend, we mean John Moritz. This award is given to a comedian who knows the most about Texas politics, according to the outcome of the games on our show. Stephanie, show the award. Yes. Close your eyes.
Send us one of those graphics where it's like, yeah.
We take it all in.
Yeah. Packing, cracking, all of it.
Whoever wins gets their picture taken with our special guest, John Moritz. And John will post the picture on his social media, announcing that the winning comedian is the most knowledgeable comedian in Austin. Stephanie, did we ask John if he is okay with this?
No, ma'am, we did not.
If you're paying attention
Judging from that face, he's all in.
He's into it. If you're paying attention to the Texas legislature at all, you'll know they are in the 3rd special session. What and why is a special session? Let's find out in the multiple choice game, Special session, my ass. As always, comedians can ask our special guests for a total of 3 times apiece between the 2 games they play. John, feel free to jump in at any time, but please don't give anything away. We really want our comedians to sweat it.
I just want to know if I get my bowling trophy back after this is over. Because
John,
the
it's
bare
been 3
spot
years.
on the
Sorry.
Okay, so Rochelle, Aaron, in this quiz, we learned the ins and out of a special session. And of course, I thought special meant better or greater, but apparently Greg Abbott thinks it means my struggle or my fight. Just Google Mein Kampf and you'll. All right, so question 1. These are multiple choice. We're going to go with Rochelle
A.
first.
The answer's A. Oh.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, do we have to go? We have to wait till
yeah.
the question's asked. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we can do.
Way to clarify. Got it.
Okay, my dad is texting me that my punchline volume is getting low, Tom. How does it sound to you?
God bless
Punchline.
Ricky C coming in.
Mein Kampf.
That's what the people want more of.
That's what they want. My struggle,
people what they
my
want.
fight.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Tom Booker. Hi. Stephanie, I'm not sure. I think you might have the wrong mic selected on your computer. I don't know if it's anything we can fix right now. So I think we're just going to have to deal with it. And keep your face close to the mic. And let's see if that's okay with your dad.
Dad, is that better?
Yes. Cool.
Fixed it. Thank you, Dad, and also another gentleman who commented.
Tony Flores.
Let's go back. I want to do the whole show again.
Do you want to?
No.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Tom.
right.
That was magical.
It certainly was.
Here we go, Rochelle. Here's the first question. According to the Texas Constitution, how often is the legislature supposed to meet during what we call a regular session? Here are your choices if you want them. A, every year, all year. B, every other year, all year. C, every other year for 140 days. Or D, September through May of every year, just like schools.
Okay, I'm gonna go with just like school because they like trying to do their best, but like if best equaled like just put kids in a place where they never learn anything but feel like they are prison in that place. Oh, are we sorry? Were we talking about prison?
We can talk about
Oh,
prison.
I'm sorry. Every time when we start talking about kids, I'm like, prison? What happened?
Abuse in juvenile prisons. That's what's happening.
I thought we were talking about that in Mein Kampf. That was my understanding.
I'm glad that we have a team here.
But I think it's D because that's the one I chose.
Great. I'm sorry. It's actually C, every other year for 140 days.
They're not even supposed to meet every year?
No. No, and John, if you want to talk about citizens legislature and the whole point of Texas.
I was just going to say she's going to have to repeat on the ledge because over the ledge because she clearly failed this first episode. So we'll see her again next semester.
Fair.
They should have you come back. That'd be fun. Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I only thought C because it sounded kind of biblical. Like it had like for 140 days. And I was like, that's right up Texas's alley.
All right, Aaron, fill in the blank. There are actually 3 blanks. I'm going to read a sentence.
God, I hate odd numbers.
It's kind of like the Mad Libs. Okay, the Constitution states that the governor may, on blank occasions, convene the legislature at the seat of government or at a different place in case that should be in possession of the public blank or in case of the prevalence of blank.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
mine was easier. You got it, Aaron.
So here are your choices. I'm going to read them quickly, but with the 3 choices. The Constitution states that the governor may, on personal occasions, convene the legislature at the seat of government or at a different place in case that the seat of government should be in possession of the public destiny or in case of the prevalence of Democrats. That's A. B. Constitution states governor may, on extraordinary occasions, convene the legislature, blah, 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 in case that should be in possession of the public police or in case of the prevalence of liberals in Austin. C, the Constitution states that the governor may, on 2 occasions, convene the legislature at the seat of government or at a different place, in case that be in possession of the public enemy or in case of the prevalence of threat of war. And the last one is extraordinary enemy and disease threat.
Okay. So I don't think it's B because there's constantly liberals. Because I mean, my neighbor was blowing bubbles for peace. So I think that is like the governor's sworn enemy, whoever that neighbor is. But she never let me down in college. So I'm going to say, you didn't have a twinkle in your eye, though, whenever I said that. So let's.
Don't forget, you can ask John.
John, what's up? John, oh, jeez, he's already nodding no.
John is like, I am not your friend.
Come on.
I had the playoff game going in the other ear, but I had the word extraordinary. I would focus in on the word extraordinary and see if that helps you.
Okay, all right, yeah, it does sound like a fancy word that Texas would just throw in there, like because oh yeah, they'll think we're real cool. Whichever one said extraordinary.
Okay, 2 of them did, but you were saying D, and I'm going to give it to you. That's correct.
Okay, yeah, because that did sound like it was intense.
Right. It says the governor on extraordinary occasions, right, can do this unless either here in Austin or if the state has been captured somewhere else, or in the case of the prevalence of disease threat. And did he call a special for the pandemic? Bonus
No,
question?
Right?
No.
That's no, right?
Yeah, it's no.
Because we're not under a disease threat, clearly. I mean,
No.
Yes.
But the voting rights is a disease threat enough. So, way to go, Greggy.
All right, Rochelle. Who can call a special session?
Me.
Answer A. What did you say? You?
Me on Tuesdays though, only. So
And every
Interesting, that's
140
one
days.
Of the answers. Okay, A, 3/5 of the members of both chambers. B, if at least 2 of the following agree to call one, the lieutenant governor, the speaker of the house, and the governor. C, only the governor. Or D, members of the public if 10% of active voters sign a petition.
is there an all of the above?
You would not on this question.
I would like to choose all of the above because they all sounded fun. Okay, look, so John, I haven't known you that long, but look, I want us to have a close friendship. You know what I'm saying? I want to borrow things from you, kind of like answers. So what you got for me?
Well, if you think about the Texas legislature, they don't want a whole lot of things happening. So they want to limit the number of things you can do and limit the number of those who can do them. So if you go for the most limited one there, I think you'd be on solid ground. And just as an aside, not to give too much away, but you can't get 10% of the people to agree on much, and that would include signing any petition. So, but remember, it's limited. Just go to the most limited option you could think of.
Well, maybe the most limited is the governor.
And there's only like one person, limited to one, and then go with that guy.
You got it. You got it.
That's C or B. Or
Yes,
one of those.
only the governor can call a special session. And John, you can also just tell them the right answer. You don't have to give
No. I want to see them suffer.
I
I'm
appreciate
pretty
Just
sure
like
the
we
audience is suffering, so I think the guests did as well.
He was like, one. Which one was one? And I'm like, A? Is 10% one? I don't know. School.
It might be in some of the shit Texas brings up. It might.
Actually, I'm just trying to discourage this whole friend calling thing. So,
I knew
Okay.
it. I knew it.
Aaron, what topics can be discussed in a special session? A, any topic. B, topics that were raised during the regular session but did not pass. C, topics chosen by the governor, or D, only topics posing serious, extraordinary risk to public safety or the state's economy, like a pandemic or a freeze that killed all our crops?
Well, if it is D, it's a shit show because they didn't call it. So I'm gonna that the B was the one that anything that went on previously, right, in in session.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that one.
Okay, but it was actually the next one. Only the governor. So the governor can both call the session and tell you what you're allowed to talk about.
So he can literally say, "Hey, we need to talk about this outrageous prices at Buc-ee's."
Yeah.
And we do.
The beef jerky's too damn high. It is. It's ridiculous.
Okay, Rochelle, what is the longest time one special session can last?
It depends on how special it is.
Hey.
Yeah.
Are the candles lit? How special is it?
All right. 7 days, 30 days, until all business is complete, or until the governor changes his mind and withdraws his call for a special session. And this is the longest.
I'm going to go with 30 days, right? Because you said they're on their third special session or something like that, right? So maybe it has a time limit. So
Maybe
30 days.
fractions in school did work for you. You're right.
It will.
30 days.
Yeah, I was actually a teacher, so enjoy that.
What did you teach?
I taught elementary school, so all subjects, and one of them being math. That's why the kids are so bad at it. All right.
I really like to think that if it was D, it was just Abbott just sitting on like the balcony, just smoking a cigarette, not satisfied, and just like they had to go back into it.
All right, Aaron, how many special sessions have we ever had?
Wait, like at one time or like collectively over the years of
Collectively
Texas?
over all the years of Texas. How many? Here are your choices. 12, 76, 3, or 137.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it's so low just because how batshit backwards we are. But it wouldn't surprise. But again, 100 and whatever, triple digits doesn't seem like a lot considering your government should be helping the good of the people. But what was the 70 number?
76.
Ooh, my grandpa did have a 76 Cadillac, so I'm gonna go with that one.
I love your grandpa, but the answer is 137.
Dang it. 137.
And I do want to say,
weight.
I've been lying to some people. I was like, do you know the only people who've ever done a special session are Rick Perry and Greg Abbott? That is not true. They go way back. I don't know where I came up with that little bit of information.
Because it sounds
good.
True. It sounds good. It does.
I've actually covered 142 of them. No.
Of the 137? I thought you looked like some of those pictures that are hanging in the lobby of when they built the Capitol, John, but...
I've changed my shirt, so...
All right, back to Rochelle. There are 9 items on Governor Greg Abbott's third call session. Which of the following topics are not on the called session? The called session.
Sex robots.
You got it. It's not. You're right. It's not.
But it's coming next year.
That's right.
Elon Musk is working on those right now.
That's right. We already got the space penis, so now we need the...
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that I said penis. Okay, redistricting. Federal COVID relief money disbursement. Transgender athletes. Government agencies and COVID vaccine mandates. Tax relief. Restraining dogs. Bail. Penalties for illegal voting. Educational slides made during the pandemic, or private businesses and COVID vaccine mandates?
You said what's not on there?
Correct. Which one of those is not important to the governor right now?
Okay, say the second one. What was the second one?
Federal COVID relief money disbursement.
I feel like that's not on there because it'd be like, why do we care about the part where everyone else would care about? This seems like everyone else would care about this, but we're not gonna care about that part. And it doesn't also seem to like, make people sad, right? So I think part of his like when he does the agenda, he's like, okay, how many people are gonna be crying? A lot? Okay, that's the one I want on here,
Good try, but it's the educational slides made during the pandemic. And
What
in
is
fact,
an educational slide?
it means that some people say that people lost 10 years worth of learning
Oh my
in
God.
that year and a half.
Okay, I thought you meant real slides. I was
Not a
like,
slideshow.
I was like, they made educational slides. Are they still hot? Are they using metal again? Because
Yeah,
that
they're
is
back.
educational. That'll tell you. That'll teach you.
All right, this is a bonus question. You both get to answer it.
I didn't get my other one though.
Well, I purposely. Yeah, that's the way this one went, Aaron. Because there's 7 I have 7 in each quiz, so you get the first of the next one.
So you gave me the Mad Lib from hell and a short and a one less question.
All right, you know what? I'm going to make up a question right now to keep it even. You're right.
You're already winning. Stop it.
No,
that's
he's
true.
not, Rochelle. You're
Uh-oh.
winning.
Yeah, give it to me.
2-1, Rochelle. Yeah.
Okay. Special sessions and why. What did the Democrats do during the first special session that got in the way?
I know this one. They left the state.
All right. There you go.
I watch occasional YouTube news when
Good for
it's
you.
ad free. Yeah.
Okay, so both of you quickly for a bonus point. What do you think about the special session and why? Rochelle.
What I think about the special session is that it's very important. It's very special. What I really like about it is that it's a session. It brings people together. I like that it's extraordinary, and I am an extraordinary person. So, yay, special session, Also, my ass is beautiful. So, there you go.
There you go. All right. Great endorsement for both her ass and the session. Aaron, take us home.
I'll give a Texas response. I'm tired of all these sessions thinking they so special. In my day, we didn't give trophies for every damn session that showed up. We're too damn soft nowadays. You got neighbors blowing bubbles for peace. You got sessions thinking they're special. We didn't have that. Look at me. I'm tough as nails. And I'm doing just fine.
Oh, wow. All right, Amy, how are we doing going into the second game?
2-2, neck and neck.
Woo!
We got
And
this.
we have a close friend, John.
We do. And we still got 2 apiece that we can call.
I'm here for you.
Thank you. John, by the way, I used your toothbrush, but friends do that. Friends do that.
That's okay. I haven't used it in years.
Oh, wait, this is me. Sorry. Okay. I am sorry to report that our special guest tweets just weren't that exciting. So we can't play tweet or twasn'ts. I mean, it was all Greg Abbott said this and Lieutenant Dan Patrick said that. And can Dade Phelan even speak kind of tweets. But our special guest is a journalist. So we're unveiling a new game called Trote or Trodent. Did he write it, Trote, or didn't he, Trodent? All right, let's play.
That's a
So
stretch.
happy.
I'll give you that. That's a stretch.
Still bringing me a lot of joy. Go on, Amy.
Oh,
I guess we just start.
actually,
okay.
it's you. Yes, let's play.
Okay, so twote or twatten?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, twatten.
That
Did he
sound-
write it or twittenty?
I feel like I'm
Okay.
going to get in trouble if I say one of these answers.
Yeah.
Right?
Like my mom was not even watching, but she's just going to feel like I should hit him or something.
Okay, so the following are quotes from recent articles John Moritz has written about Governor Greg Abbott. They're true or false, and you're going to decide if John wrote it or we made it up. Okay. So here's the first quote from an article, and the article is entitled, Abbott, 9 GOP governors come to Texas border to lay blame for crisis at Biden's feet. Here's the quote. The event carried a decidedly militaristic ambiance with 11 Humvees, 2 5-ton Army trucks, and Army UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters stationed behind the speaker's lectern. Did John write this, or did I make it up?
Whose turn is it?
It is Rochelle's turn.
Oh, I think it was TWROTE. Is that trote?
Twote. You're
Twote.
right. He twoted. He twoted.
that.
He twoted that.
Twoted
Very
up.
good.
Twoted up. Twoted up. Hey.
Hey,
John, want to talk about your inspiration for this description?
Well, when I was down there, it was pretty clear that the visuals were going to be an essential part of the event, and I thought it was a good idea to just kind of get that down. I mean, obviously, there's going to be pictures with the story, but you still want to be able to just get it on record that there were these helicopters, there were these vehicles, and basically it's in my business, it's just known as a scene setting device. So I just wanted to set the scene that, you know, this is what the governor brought to bear with him on that day.
Thank you. All right. Another quote, same article, Aaron.
I will say real quick, if Abbott is so preoccupied about visuals, he really needs to blend his makeup better, because that has been like my biggest thing for the past 2 years. He's been in the media a lot, and Jesus Christ, whoever's touching him up, it is 2 different shades from cheek to neck. We need to fix it. That's all I'm saying. Too much blush.
Makeup tips with Aaron. Got it. You're right. There is I'm never gonna unsee that. Aaron.
I can't, like, he looks like a Raggedy Ann doll with the blush circles. Every time I see him, I'm like, just get him a wig. He's there.
Raggedy Abbott. Yes.
All right. Same article. You, Aaron. And by crisis, I'm sorry, let me use the same voice. And by crisis, the governor was clear to note that this is not a humanitarian crisis. These people don't matter, said the governor. They don't matter because they broke the law. It doesn't matter what their story is. The governor continued to outline that this is a border security, drug, and safety crisis, saying, and I quote, people wouldn't do drugs if they didn't come from Mexico. Is this a twote or a twotant?
It sounds idiotic, but he also said we're going to get the rapists.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's saying top tier shit. I'm gonna say it was I think it was 12.
It wasn't. It trotent. I wrote that. It trotent. But
Because I really
the-
thought he said they wouldn't matter. I really would think he would say these people don't matter.
He might. Okay, and this just in, they actually still are on the House floor right now. They started at 10 o'clock today talking about children's genitalia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just want
And
you to know.
they're going to do some funding for all those rape kits that haven't been funded, right? Since Greg Abbott's really concerned about rape now.
Right.
Well, they're going to
Sure.
get the rapists. There's just not going to be any more rape.
Right. Well, now that there are no abortions, the rapers are like, whoopsie. I guess I can't rape anymore because I can't abort them anymore. Awkward.
Because that's the, if you ever interviewed someone who raped, they definitely say that. They're like, you know, I would rape more, but you know, people are getting pregnant out here, and that's gross.
And that's gross.
That's yucky.
All right.
I don't really know what that goes
Ew.
into.
Okay, second quote. This is from, or maybe not from, an article entitled "Abbott Sent a Message to Biden in South Texas," but it was also aimed at his 2022 rivals. Bottom line, Abbott is better off politically talking about the border and taking advantage of the take charge visuals it offers him. Otherwise, the headlines might be dominated by the pandemic and the still scary number of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths, or about whether Republicans in the legislature overreached on abortion, voter restrictions, gun laws, or anything else that might put the governor on the defensive heading into an election year. Rochelle, did John write this, or did I make it up? Twote or twotented?
Ooh, that's
Twotent.
a tough one. I'm gonna go with twotent. Twotent.
Twote. He twoted.
Doggone it! What should have went with my first mind? All right.
Yeah, and don't forget you can ask him. He's right there.
Oh,
He'll
I should
tell
be
you.
like
these.
John.
I keep
Did you write
forgetting.
this? Dear John, did you write this? Next time, wink or something.
I did, but I was young and I needed the money. I really didn't have.
I've done shameful things for money. I have. So is Greg Abbott, really.
Haven't we all? Let's be honest. All right, same article, different quote. Aaron. Abbott is really sweating it for the first time in his career, but not in his life. People simply just don't like him. 49% of people said they don't believe he deserves another term. 58% of people think he flip-flopped too often on COVID safety protocols. And 61% think we frankly just need someone better looking as governor. Twote or twotent?
Well, let's hope he isn't sweating too much because that makeup's gonna run, Greggy. I don't think. Was this you, John?
Is this the phone a friend thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Stephanie's a pretty good writer, but she doesn't capture my voice in that thing, so I'll have to go with no.
Oh, you might lose me a point, bud. Just looking at her reaction. It was twotent.
He
I'm not
twoted
sure.
it.
Well, does
no,
quote
no,
mean
I'm sorry.
true? Does
No,
and quote
quote.
means
Twote means true. Twotent means not true. And you're right. It twotent. I wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't quite captured his voice yet. All right. Challenge accepted.
He was very serious about that. Like, if you gonna quote me right. Okay.
All right. Back to you, Rochelle. Here's a different article. It's called "Here's What to Watch For in a Matchup Between O'Rourke and Governor Abbott." O'Rourke hasn't done himself any favors with conservative Democrats or moderate Republicans in the Rio Grande Valley. Coming after guns and gas and oil jobs was a big mistake, but it might be a moot point. Abbott is acting like a squirrel crossing the road that just can't make up his mind, going slightly to the left and then back to the right and then just frozen with inaction. O'Rourke might not need to win. He just needs Abbott to lose. Was that twote by John or twotented by Stephanie?
I still want to go with twoting, but I'm going to ask point blank. Look, friend, did you write that? Because I just really want to know. I want to know your heart. I want to understand you better, friend.
But most of my stories don't really offer that granular level of advice or opinion. But I will say that she did kind of capture the way I think and the way I write, not for publication. So I think I'm going to be back in Stephanie's good graces. But there's going to be TWOTTE apostrophe.
210, 210, please.
You're right. Twotent. I wrote it.
Love the squirrel imagery. That was
Twasn't bad.
That was good. That was good. Wait, is O'Rourke running? Is that official?
No, it's not official.
Okay, because I hope not.
Okay, to you, Aaron. Same story, different quote. Hell yeah! That was O'Rourke's response to a question on the presidential debate stage in Houston, to a question on whether military assault-style rifles should be seized by the government. Does O'Rourke stick to his guns? Pause here for obligatory bad pun groan.
Grown.
Thank you. Or does he pivot and insist he was speaking only about those who couldn't pass a background check or who had otherwise signaled they can't be trusted with a firearm?
I'm gonna say twotent.
He twote that. He totally twote that. Yes.
You faked me when you said hold for the obligatory. I was like, feel like Stephanie would have wrote that, and then like you actually held. I was like,
picked that twote.
That's how she picked it.
Nice.
man.
Okay, last quote. Last quote here. Rochelle, this is from an article 2021. Legislative session was a warning to Democrats. Learn how to win elections or perish. Here's your quote. No other.
I was like, yeah, I agree.
I was just like, oh, that's good, John. That's some good shit.
No other Democrat of stature, not even former San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro, has even hinted about running. He also flamed out in the 2020 race. Unless a marquee name steps forward, be it O'Rourke or a newcomer, there will be little to excite Democratic voters and even less to excite Democratic donors to keep down ballot candidates afloat. Twote or twotant?
Yo, man, I'm totally twoting this one. I think this is twotable for real.
He twoted. Tell us more.
Yeah, that was my my words there. I actually got a lot of feedback. I thought I was going to get some help from some of my Democratic friends, but a couple of them tweeted that this was something that they needed to hear. That they spend too much time complaining about what happens to them once the legislative session starts, and not enough time trying to figure out, well, how can we stop this upstream, as opposed to just constantly ducking and covering once the session starts.
Yeah, I think that's great. Great work.
Okay, Aaron, you're it. Okay. And maybe I didn't prepare one, so just hold on.
You already gave yourself up, Stephanie, when you said, all right, last one. I was like, wait a minute.
No, okay.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to notice that.
All right, final quote. The lesson from 2021 is that Democrats will need more than chest thumping, news conferences, friendly interviews on MSNBC, or high energy rallies outside the Capitol to slow the Republicans down, much less to stop them. Same story, twote or twotant.
If this is true, you should have also put campaign logos that look like spicy ketchup, because that's how O'Rourke got a majority of the votes. Let's be real. His logo looked like spicy ketchup from Whataburger. I'm gonna say twote.
You are correct. He twoted that.
Hey.
Good job. Okay, John, I do want to just ask you here before we tally up the score. I believe you know that I have announced that I am thinking of running for governor, and you've not mentioned it or asked me any questions about it, and I'm hurt. You talk about a newcomer. What's up? What's up with that?
I'm sorry. Tell me your name again.
Oh,
I can. Well,
This is my name. I'll give you 5 letters of my name.
Now we did chat informally about whether or not you were serious about running, and because I think I saw something on Facebook where I couldn't really tell if this was like an over the ledge promo or something that you were really trying to accomplish. But now that I know that you're not just shamelessly promoting your show, that you actually have an actual agenda, then we can talk sometime in the not too distant future, as the politicians like to say.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Don't put your friends don't put friends on the spot.
That's
true.
No. In my business, that's what we got to do all the time.
All right, Amy, how did we do?
All right. Leading 5-4. It's Rochelle is the most knowledgeable comedian in Austin.
Pew, pew, pew. I brought finger guns because I didn't want to be without in Texas. Okay?
It's a
All right,
crime.
so Tom, if you could take a picture of the screen so just Rochelle, so you know, we started these in real life. They were live. We did one weekend of recordings and then COVID happened.
Oh, dude, that's right.
Hold still.
I also happen to remember that was the same weekend that the Red Rose opened up near the institution, the strip club.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a big weekend for that corner for institution and the strip club. I was like, man, it's a packing time right now.
Aaron, did you just call the strip club an institution?
No, the institution theater. Both institutions in their own right, but the institution theater.
He was like, look, I go there and have dinner every night. Okay. It's
$10.99 ribeye.
Right? The pubic hairs are extra. I guess there are no pubic hairs at a strip club, right? That's the whole point.
Only on
Although,
Thursday.
if you just sort of want to cover yourself, to your friends and perhaps the significant others in your life, you can say, honey, I was at the institution.
There you go. There you go.
I have a friend who told me that strip clubs were like going to the ballet, but for men.
Adult ballets.
Wow.
Yeah. And by friend, I mean my second ex-husband. All right, Rochelle, any words of wisdom now that you're the most knowledgeable comedian in Austin for the next 2 weeks?
Yes, my words of wisdom is stay in school, because that's where you won't learn anything about the Texas legislature, and that will help you be better at this game.
Love it. So in sync. So in sync. All right, Amy, what's next?
Well, now, 'twasn't that special.
It was.
Now, let's meet the man behind the curtain, John Moritz.
I'm not sure there's ever a curtain, but
Well, you're stuck in that little press room.
well, yeah, kind of. Right. Well, what do you want to know?
I want to know what it's like to keep your politics out of your stories, and how do you keep a straight face when you're talking to somebody who you think is crazy or ridiculously mean?
It's really not that hard. I mean, I've been a reporter for virtually all of my adult life, and it just becomes second to your nature. You don't necessarily have to. You're not a stenographer where you just accept what they're saying and write it down. You challenge them, about if they're trying to spin you or say something that's not true. But at the end of the day, if you're somebody serving in office or wants to serve in office, you have to make a case to the people you want to either represent or are representing. And it's not my job to say, well, you like low taxes, I think they should be higher, or you don't want any spending, I think there should be tons of spending. It's really my job is to inform the public about what it is these people are doing or want to do should they become elected. And you almost have to. In journalism, you want to start from a baseline of truth. We can all agree on a certain set of facts. It's kind of becoming an anachronistic, perhaps, in some parts of our industry. But I want my readers to believe that I'm starting on a level playing field. I'm not promoting my own agenda. I'm not promoting anyone's agenda. This is what I see as what happens. In my straight stories, like the one you talked about Biden and the military thing, I presented what was there in front of me, and I offered a little bit of insight based on my experience. In the columns, I try to peel back a little bit, like here's what they're doing. And I'm not saying their policies are right or their policies are wrong, but here's where it could land them. And if O'Rourke wants to be governor, he's going to have to deal with that gun thing. If Biden wants to press the border, here's what he needs to do. But I don't feel comfortable as a reporter substituting my judgment for those who would be either putting themselves up for election or serving in office. My job is to basically provide a fair forum for them to present what they have to say, challenge them on their assumptions when it's appropriate, but not to say, okay, you're wrong, and here's what you should be doing, not what you are doing. That's just not the role of an objective reporter, which I've been since the 1980s.
Thank you. I think you're a bit of a rare breed that you have survived in journalism this long. What's your secret, and how has it changed from true story? My mom and John were in journalism school at the same time. So when I was very young, John would play with me and my sisters and push us around in the chairs in the press room.
How do you do that thing with your?
Yeah. And sometimes he'd lock me in the closet. It was cool. But it's certainly changed since then, and you've survived. How and why?
Basically, the trick to surviving in journalism is to not have any other marketable skills, and so you have no choice but to keep doing what you do. Now, I survived. There's a number of things. It sounds corny and crass to say, but I love what I do, and I've done it for a long time. I don't want to do anything else. I've tried my hands at a few other things, and I came back to this profession. I'm fortunate that I have somebody who's not terribly worried about how much money I make, because she makes plenty of her own, and so there's that pressure has been taken off of me. I can't speak for everybody, but if you want to be a reporter, you really have to live it and breathe it and honor the profession, and work your sources, be curious about what you see in front of you, be cynical, be skeptical, and don't be afraid. You're going to get into fights with people. They're not going to like what you write. Some people will, but you also got to remember that it's not a personal thing. If you're somebody in government or politics, you have a job to do, and you have to do it. If you're somebody in journalism, you have a different job to do, and then you have to do it. And if you get crossways with somebody on an occasion, if you're wrong, suck it up, admit it. Write a correction. Apologize to the person you're wrong. If you're right, stick to your guns and keep doing what you're doing. But at its core, you have to believe that the American institution is based on the fact that everybody has a right to know what their government is doing, how their money is being spent, what the agendas are of those who would make policy, and all of that has to be out there in the open because of that same baseline of truth I talked about before. An uninformed electorate is the biggest danger to democracy. An electorate informed by the government and the government alone is a danger to democracy. So if you've got to have that principle if you want to be a reporter, is that the republic as we know it cannot survive without a free and independent news media. And there's room for commentary. There's room for people who want to write polemics either way, and that's fine. But there's got to be a wide track for objective journalism, so we can say, here's what's going on. This is not agenda driven. This is what I see, how I'm interpreting it, and I've been at the game in a long time. So you can trust me that I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not protecting anybody. I'm not promoting anybody. I'm just reporting what I see to be true. And boy, damn. I hope somebody was writing that down. That was pretty damn.
We're recording
damn
it.
good,
So,
damn good.
yeah.
I was going to say, John, China and North Korea seem to have no problems, and they have really focused journalism.
Yeah, seem to, I believe, would be the key words there. This program that we are all taking part in now, that Stephanie is her brainchild, it's because we have the freedom to do that. This is journalism is the only profession that is protected by the United States Constitution. Doctors ain't protected, lawyers ain't protected, school teachers ain't protected. Comedians, you are protected because you have the First Amendment on your side.
What about prostitutes? Because that was the first profession ever that needs to be protected.
Prostitutes are more likely victims, and they're victims at every point in the process. One of the stories that I submitted to Stephanie that she could take a look at was human trafficking, and trafficking sounds like it's people at the border being stuck in a semi. Trafficking is sex slavery, and that's a whole nother topic. But
yeah, man, I like this new friend. Hey, come on, revolution,
you can use my
friend,
toothbrush anytime you need to.
We'll have a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
What have you ever written an article that got you in trouble? And who to get you in trouble with? And were you scared for your life? That kind of trouble?
No.
Didn't you write for Perry Stewart?
No.
Okay, never say his name again.
No. I mean, I've written stories that people didn't like and people call me out on. I've never actually, and this may be naivete on my part, I've never once feared for my physical safety on the job. I take precautions. I don't just, charge into a situation blindly. But if I've got my press badge swinging from my neck, my iPhone and my notebook, I feel like I'm okay. I mean, if it's a tense situation, there's authorities around. Obviously we've all seen gun violence and things get out of control. But I try not to let that consume me. I want to be aware of my surroundings and all of that. As far as like making somebody mad and they call me up and they're saying, "Boy, you're no good. I'll get you fired. You'll never work here in this town again." Sure, that happens. And it started happening in 1980 or 81, whenever I started, and it's probably going to keep happening, and I ain't going to worry about it.
All right. Let's go to this article. This is kind of where we're going to end, although I'll let anyone ask a final question if they'd like. I've lost my thought. I pulled a Rick Perry. Hold on. Your article about Democrats and like it's time to win a state seat. Right? I feel like, people know that, or I would think people know that Democrats have not won a statewide seat in almost 30 years. And I don't know if you can answer this because I know you need to stay impartial, but do you think that Democrats don't know how to win, or do you think there are not enough Democrats in Texas? Because even with a fantastic strategy, could they win, or are we just really kicking people when they're down?
A little bit of both. Democrats, and I say as much in this article, I think, or in articles similar to that, is they start out, or they seem to start out with the notion, okay, I'm going to get my ass kicked. How do I get my ass kicked honorably? As opposed to saying, you know what? I'm sick and tired of getting my ass kicked. How do I kick somebody else's ass? And what do I need to do? Obviously you don't want to compromise your honor and your integrity, but you basically have to, if you're a Democrat and you want to win in Texas. I mean, Texas is the only red state, as I'm aware of, that has not elected a Democrat in many people's lifetimes. I mean, we're talking 1994. So if you came of age, if you were born in 1994, what are you now? 27 years old?
27, because
you're 27 years old. You started voting 9 years ago. You've never voted. You've never voted for, if you're a Democratic person of that age in Texas, you've never voted for a winning statewide candidate. Montana, they got senators and governors. South Dakota, they've elected Democrats. Georgia's elected Democrats. Florida's elected Democrats. Texas doesn't elect Democrats statewide. And, they're very good at, getting on the back microphone in the House, or they're very good at filibustering in the Senate on an issue that they feel passionate about, and good for them. That's what they do to serve the constituents that they represent. But they wouldn't need to do that near so often if they could somehow or another figure out how to win one of three key races: governor, lieutenant governor, or attorney general.
Dog catcher. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're back to like the yellow rose thing. Because I mean, if the Democrats could maybe shake a little tail feather, I'd vote.
I'd see that. Yeah.
Go to a rally or two.
Like I said, 61% of people just want a better looking governor.
At least less makeup. Damn.
All right, Aaron or Rochelle, Amy, do y'all have any questions for John?
I do have one. You worked the Caller Times, right, in Corpus?
Yeah, I work for the USA Today network. The Caller Times is like my host paper, but I work for a whole network of papers.
Oh, right. Yeah, 'cause I was curious, like if you were part of any of the shit show that happens, because I'm from the area, so I wasn't sure if you had anything that stuck out to mind there, because I mean, Selena passed away. We had like a shit show with like our money going on down there. So I wasn't sure if you had any fun stories from the Caller Times.
I wish I could accommodate you on that. I've lived in Austin since 1996, and I'm based in Austin. So I don't have a real sense of connection to any one of the communities in the network, except for now that the Statesman is now part of the network. I live here, but no, sadly, I'm not of that community. I try to be on the lookout for stories in Austin that'll be of interest to those readers and in some of the other markets. But
gotcha.
I have a question.
Sure.
You're striving to be objective and to just tell the kind of story, right? How do you, I guess, still have hope or like inject your writing with something that makes people be like, I may not stab my eyes out today, like, because it gets to a point where you're like, I don't need la, 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 la. But if people are going to read and they're going to pay attention, there has to be some level of, I don't know, hope or something that you put in there. So
yeah, I mean, that's a good question and a fair question. I mean, it's, whatever it is you're doing, like when you were a teacher, how did you have hope that the parents were going to back you up? If you had to, either, have a difficult conversation with a student who might be going on a wrong path, how did you have hope that the principal would back you up if you had, get into an unpleasant conversation with either a student or a parent or a guardian? So you have to have that as a baseline. What we do is worth doing, and we've got to believe that somebody wants to invest in the product we're selling. And somebody made a joke about the free YouTube, and it's kind of like, no, I don't work for free. You got to pay me for what I do, and that means you got to subscribe to the newspaper. That means if you hit a paywall, you don't say, "Well, I guess I ain't gonna read that." If it's of interest to you, you got to invest in your citizenship a little bit. It ain't a whole lot of money. You'll spend more on Starbucks or whatever coffee house you're on now in a day or a week than you might spend on on a subscription to a publication.
So what you're saying is hope isn't free.
Yeah. So I've got to believe that you're willing to do that. And if you're willing to do that, I'm willing to tell you what I've seen in the halls of government. I'm willing to share with you some of the knowledge, some of the insight that I've gained over the course of my career. And also you gotta want the country to succeed. I mean, it sounds corny, but we want, a free society to thrive, and a free society democratically cannot survive without you, all of you, knowing what it is your government is doing. I mean, what Stephanie is doing right now, it's a public service. I mean, I deliver my product in a different medium than she does, with a different tone. She says, okay, that's fine. That may work for you. I see a whole bunch of people who ain't buying what you're selling. I'm going to see if I can sell them my stuff. And that's great, because we need all those voices. Back when we were in college, we learned about the marketplace of ideas, all these different ideas, and the best ones will emerge. Maybe that was true 40 years ago when I was in college. I don't know if it's still that ideal, but we have to try. And, ask Stephanie why she does what she's doing. I mean, she sees government up close and personal because of her day job. And she still has to believe that what she's doing, here tonight, is going to, pay off. She's got a great sense of humor. She's a wonderful personality, but I got to think that she wants people to come away from this little exercise saying, hey, you know what? I do need to pay attention. It's not that distant, ethereal concept. I've got a stake in this game. I got to get in it. I've got to see if I can influence, how it ends and how it's played.
I will say you did do that, Stephanie, because I am a VDVR now. So I mean,
Thank you.
shit like this works.
Sean's gonna make me
Hey.
cry. Thank you. Well, I want to end there, but my mom has a question. Are you feeling like Beto will run? Any feeling about whether he will run, and why is he waiting to announce? I'll answer first. He's threatened by me. John, you go next.
We'll go ahead and grant that argument for the sake of discussion. I do believe he will run. I do not know why he is waiting so long. I think, and this is conjecture based on a little bit of knowledge, talking with a little bit of sources, and some of this you might see in the columns and news articles that I write. I think one of the things that he did when he ran for president is that he didn't perhaps war game it out. And, certain things may have caught him by surprise and it didn't come to accrue to his benefit. Aside from Stephanie, the Castro brothers aren't running. Somebody who holds office or who has held office, whose father may have held office, is out there. So I think he's got time to keep the field frozen until he feels like I'm ready for every snotty question, that people like John Moritz might ask me, and have a good answer for him. I don't know that. I mean, I think the longer he waits, the possibility that somebody could catch fire is out there, but the moneyed Democrats that I talk to, the activist Democrats that I talk to, are basically saying we ain't going nowhere until we hear what Beto's going to do. So I think he feels like there's no pressure on him to say, okay, by October 15th, 2021, I will have made my decision and let everyone know.
Can I also ask, do you think he also might be just letting Abbott kind of like burn himself a little bit? Because he's constantly in the headlines nationally, and it's not for good looks. So do you think he could just be like, hey, let him burn himself just a little bit more, holding on to that match?
I think I don't know that, to be honest with you, but Abbott's got a couple of primary challengers out there that I don't think that Abbott's terribly worried about either one of his challengers on the right. Let me kind of recast and be a little bit more artful on that. I don't think he's taken any chances that one of them will catch fire, and that's why you see some of the recent moves like the vaccine prohibition and that sort of thing. I think perhaps Beto may have the luxury of seeing like which one of these guys might get under Abbott's skin, maybe knock him off his game. So that work will have, the ground will have been softened for whenever the Democrats decide who's going to run. I don't know that to be true, but I wouldn't be surprised if that were part of the thinking.
Thank you so much. Amy, take us home.
All right. Thank you so much to our special guests, John Moritz and Rochelle Mcconaco, most knowledgeable comedian in Austin. Thank you to Aaron Salinas and our Over the Ledge benevolent empress, Stephanie Chiarello. Thank you to our new sound engineer, Tom Booker.
Yay, Tom, show up.
And just remember, Tom Booker loves you.
Oh,
Yay! Oh.
Thank you, Amy Lowry, for guiding us through this episode. And a second thank you to all our sponsors. We couldn't do this without you. I also just want to say happy birthday to my dad, whose birthday is tomorrow, and my mom, whose birthday is about 12 days from there. So our two biggest fans are turning 75, which is fascinating because I'm 27.
Yay! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
And that's our show. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok as at Over the Ledge with no D. Everyone says bye and we fade out. Bye.
Oh, the Over the Ledge.